Hey, everybody, this is Gray Area, and my name is Alex, and we're here today with Jean Pierre. How are
What's
you
up?
doing, man?
Great, man. Good, good. Here, just trying to get some work done, and yeah, ready for tomorrow. Ready to get back on the road.
Nice. How's this summer been treating you? You've been out a lot?
Yeah, man. It's been intense. I'm very thankful for it. Considering the years we had before. But yeah, it's been good. Going back and forth to Ibiza, coming back, doing some shows here, and then going back, and kind of just doing this bounce around for the whole summer. Which so yeah, it's been fun, but it's intense too.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, let me ask you something. Since you've been going to Ibiza for so long and you have some like perspective to look at this with, how's this season in Ibiza compared to other years?
It's a little different. We were just talking about that recently. It's a lot of I've seen a lot of people working like nonstop. Before I felt like there was a little bit more time to chill and enjoy the island, but this time I feel like everybody's got so much going on that you're just constantly working. The people are definitely trying to take advantage of the time that they miss. You could definitely
Yeah.
feel that energy from the club owners, from the club like managers and stuff. Like everybody's pretty much on their business mode, which is it's good to see. But it's also you got to make it an issue to kind of go enjoy the island a little bit more. Before I felt like it happened more organically.
Yeah.
Now you kind of got to like plan it out. Like Saturday we're going to the beach. Like I don't care, I don't care
Right.
who's going, but that was kind of the thing. Also, I felt like before there was a little bit more of the villa after parties that we would go to. I feel like
Yeah.
I've only been to a couple handful this year compared to how it was before.
Yeah.
There's been some instances of people charging like to get into this after parties that was unheard of before.
Oh,
So
wow.
so now I feel like it's definitely everybody's trying to make money somehow, I guess.
Well, I guess with 2 years off,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, for
everybody's
sure.
just in like in a way different mode than they were when they had been doing this already for 20, 30 years straight with no end
Yeah,
in
yeah,
sight.
yeah. No, you can't knock the hustle, at the end of the
Yeah,
day.
right. So let's get into it, man. You're you've been around for years. You've been in the New York scene for a long time, and I kind of want to go back like even before that,
Okay.
and talk about how you got into dance music initially. I know you've said that you first discovered dance music while you were living in Colombia with your dad.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Well, I was born in Queens, so I was mostly growing up with like the hip hop culture and like into
Right.
really into that, and that's what we were listening to. My older brother started kind of putting the bug in my ear about Sound Factory, and that he was going to Sound Factory and he was doing this, listening to Jonathan Peters, and telling me all these crazy stories about what happened in that club, and so you kind of were intrigued. I was kind of intrigued by it already, but more as of maybe going to check it out when I was old enough to go.
Right.
But then, I was just, it was my freshman year of high school. I was a little bit rebellious, you know, going out to party, doing, crazy stuff that you get into when you go to high school. And
Yeah.
my mom was like, you know what? I'm sending you to your dad. You're going to go to your dad. And I'm like, all right, fine. I was like rebellious to that point. I'm like, fine, send me to my dad. So I go to Colombia. I already was going every summer. And then, so I kind of had friends already. I knew the way around the city. It wasn't like a new experience. And I decided to go to school there. It was a great school. I met, got a lot of my friends from that era are still friends today.
Oh, nice.
And there were during that time there was these two nightclubs called Mission and Privilege, which were pretty high end clubs. They were Mission was a huge club. And it would base their sound and lighting from Sound Factory. Owner went to New York, fell in love with Sound Factory. I don't know how much money he paid, but he brought that same rig and lighting
Wow.
to that club, and he started bringing like Carl Cox, I believe, played there, or they would do these big raves with Carl Cox. Marco Carolla was playing there back then, like all these other, big European DJs that were introducing to these people in Colombia, and everybody was obviously blown away.
Yeah.
I was going every weekend, just learning. At first, there was no like, it wasn't about DJing. It was just about like just enjoying this music and kind of really getting into it. And like a year later, I was at a friend's house. they were partying. I was kind of just still kind of just hanging out, and they were like, hey, we can't play. We're too drunk. Can you do this? Like, this is the DJ mixer. This is two boom boxes that it was connected with. There wasn't even no CDJs or anything. It was just two boom boxes just playing CDs. And they're like, this does this, this does this, and just figure it out. Play for us. And I did, and it was one of the experiences that changed my life. Because it was from that moment on, I was like, what is this? What is going on here? Why am I so attached to it? And I was 15 years old, and I just turned 37 in August, and I haven't stopped since. So it's been a long run. But
And that's such an incredible way to like get into the culture too. Like, especially like, I mean, you came from New York, which has like such a vibrant scene, but to go to another country and experience it there, and then come back to New York into a scene that's like
booming.
pop, like booming, and you're like you're in the midst of that, and you're already ready to go. Like, what happened when you came back to that scene? Like, what were you?
When I came back, I was kind of I spent a good time amount in Colombia, so it was like a good 4 years. And then I came back, and I was just kind of just watching. I wasn't really pushing myself. I felt like I still needed a lot of work, DJing and getting more experience. And I kind of just my older brother knew a lot of friends. I started building my own little network and just going to Pasha, going to all these other clubs that were open at that time, and just kind of just listening and just networking. It took a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Then I had my first. I was playing in Queens and after I was in certain places. People were starting to respond to it, and then I got one of my first shows was in the Pacha basement. When Rob Fernandez and that whole crew was there, and rest in peace. He did a lot for me in my career. He got me Cielo for my birthday, it became a yearly thing. We did it for like 3 years with Dance Here Now and Benny Soto, and it was definitely gave me a lot of push. And then we started playing Asseteria when that was open. Then we started doing the Pasha main floor. They started booking me for the main floor, opening up for Oscar G, opening up for Boris, Chris Vargas. During that time, man, it was just I kind of just kept doing my thing, man. Just head down, just embracing, obviously trying not to get lost in that New York City scene, which was intense. It was pretty nonstop. From weekends, every weekend was something, and it was very vibrant. And it kind of just kept going, and building and building, and starting to travel outside of New York when I could, going back to Colombia, playing in Colombia certain times. Then Output opened. The scene in New York I felt changed a little bit. It changed from the way I think one of the main things that kind of changed it was when Rob Fernandez passed away. I think it was a little bit more about the New York City DJs, which was us, and a couple others that were who consistently gigging and making good money, and we were making good money.
Yeah.
And then it kind of flipped when he passed away, and they started bringing more of the Europeans. Like you started seeing the Jamie Jones, you started seeing the Marco, you started seeing all the warehouse parties with the drum code DJs and all this other stuff. And I felt like the New York DJs kind of were pushed a little bit to the side, and the fees weren't that high. So I was kind of like trying to find myself. I built my studio, and I was just kind of like obviously producing music as much as I could. I released on Nervous, did an album for Nervous that I have up there. It was like one of my like CD albums, which was a cool little milestone. I released on Victor Calderon's label, Boris's label. Consistently trying to tie myself with the other New York City main guys.
Right.
It kept me busy, kept me going. But then it kind of shifted, and when Output opened, I started working at the record store at Halcyon.
Right.
And that also that helped me out a lot for Output to kind of see my face consistently. And they started giving me open and closed sets in the Panther room, bring me in the main room. And, that's kind of how the whole story went until Output closed. And then obviously the record store was going to close a couple of months later. And I was kind of just already, I was kind of over it. It was getting colder and colder in the winter. I was like, I don't want to do this cold anymore, and then. Luckily, a friend of mine here in Miami kind of opened up the doors for me, and he kind of just like, yo, bro, just come down here, and we just build another studio. and I brought all my equipment and started just building this place little by little. I've been here for close to 4 years, and that's it. That's pretty much it. It helped Miami helped my move to kind of go to other markets. I
Yeah.
felt like the Miami airport and transportation, the flights are cheaper, and it helped me go back to South America more consistently. It helped me go to Europe a little bit more, and now here we are, just making music. I give music production classes during the pandemic, which helped out a lot,
Yeah, I
uh,
bet.
and kind of kept me busy and do mix downs for people and just kind of just keep it as busy as I can with the music part of it, because it also balances you out compared to like gigging all the time, and just
Right.
being on that road. So, but yeah, that's kind of how roughly. Obviously, I missed some good points that I could try to remember, but other than that, I think that's kind of where we at right now, man. That's kind of the storyline.
Well, I love that I mean, you really went over through like these pivotal periods in New York that like transition from the days of like Pacha and kind of New York being a vibrant underground scene
Yeah. New
into its
York used to be New York,
and right. New York was different. I've been around for a while too, so I know
Yeah,
like New York had a very clearly defined sound and a clearly defined scene to it that was different. And then there was a transitionary period you talked about where it kind of like crossed over to where it is today.
yeah, exactly.
And you being a kind of an underground staple for years and experiencing this massive groundswell of support in the United States for dance music. I mean, what does it even mean to be an underground act anymore? When people are
Uh,
playing, when people are pulling in tens of millions of streams regularly and performing in front of thousands of people all the time. Like what does that even mean to you anymore?
Um, it also it's a motivation, I guess, to a point, but it's also kind of I've learned as I've gotten older to kind of just definitely try not to compare your career to others, which
Yeah,
should give you a little bit more peaceful state of mind and kind of just like not obviously pay attention to what's going on, but
of course.
everybody has their own way. I feel that as trying to keep it as underground as I can, or everybody has a different viewpoint of what underground is,
Right.
but I try to keep my style the same, even though it's different music throughout the years. I feel like people appreciate that, and at the end of the day, it makes me happy to
Yeah.
play this type of music and kind of just keep my lane. Obviously, experiment with vocals and different types of ideas and I'm always looking for new talent for my label that we're starting to get everything rolling and so I'm looking at young talent that's like when they send me music I feel something. I don't want to go to the same typical artist that everybody's releasing. I kind of want
Yeah.
to just showcase some new talent and I think that all that freshness of like dealing with young kids and dealing with young producers and being introduced to all the sounds and traveling is also kind of keeps me on that tip because you go to other
Yeah.
cities like London and London has a great underground scene,
One of
that's
the
like
best.
yeah, so it's amazing. So you go there, you refresh, you go to the record shop, and Phonica. I always go to Phonica every time I go, and it's all that stuff is kind of just what keeps you motivated to kind of just keep staying in your lane, no matter what else is going on with the streaming and all that stuff. Like
Yeah.
I have a Spotify account, but to be honest, I barely check it. It's kind of like it's there just when the music releases because I know how it fares with other like bigger names or more commercial acts that are
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
pushing this commercial music, and all power to them. Whatever makes you happy at the end of the night. You know.
I mean, and like you're probably better off not checking it anyways. It keeps
Yeah,
you focused on what you want to be focused on, the music,
exactly.
but
Exactly.
also you stay working, and
Yeah.
that's really what's important. And the fact that you're continually working and contributing to the culture is way more important than like constantly being focused on the numbers game
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
thinking
Totally.
about that because that can really like cloud your judgment in a lot of ways, right?
Totally, totally. I mean, when the shift went into this social media bubble where everything is like likes and Instagram became what it was. I remember when Instagram was just about pictures and
Yeah,
just
right.
taking cool pictures, and I had like maybe 3 likes, 5 likes,
Oh shit.
7 likes at that time. Now it's
Yeah.
like you got to like really. Yeah, it has to be a part of the game, unfortunately, and it has to be a part of your daily routine. Like, are you gonna post something? Are you gonna do this? And I feel like you're more accessible to people too, because they can write whatever they want to you, no matter any time. Like, yo, what did you play this day at this time? And I was like, hi, how are you? You know,
Yeah,
like
right.
there's no, yeah, there's no real separation anymore. I feel like, and if you're not that accessible, they'll look at you like you're cocky or you're arrogant or
Right.
you're not connected with your fans. So you definitely got to find a balance with this whole social media thing and kind of just find what works out for you. And just at the end of the day, like you said, folks, I try to keep myself busy as I can with making music and reaching out to artists that I respect and try to create a relationship. And now that the label has become a part of my life, is definitely something that I gotta be very strategic with. So it's something that keeps your head in the game at the end of the day without having to focus so much on what else is going on outside.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the label too. You launched it 2 years ago now, 2021.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a natural progression for an artist to start a label. And I know that like it gives you more control over when you can release stuff. Releasing through labels can be,
Yeah.
while they have marketing power and they have this and this and that for you, it also can sometimes take like a year for your tune to get released, which is
Oh,
crazy. By the time it gets released, it's already washed for you. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Totally.
what is having the label offer you in other terms of creative opportunities that you wouldn't otherwise find working with other imprints?
I find that the label for me is it's a very personal thing because
Mm-hmm.
I don't have I'm just starting to build a team with my agency with Bullet, and we're kind of focusing on the branding and stuff like that. But it's mainly me.
Yeah.
I don't have a label manager. I don't have another type of manager anymore. It's just me handling everything. So it's very personal. I'm taking my time with it.
Yeah.
I released the first release was a vinyl only label release that we still haven't released digitally, and it's done very well. Like a lot of big guys have been playing it, and it's kind of under the radar, which I like, because I feel like there's still certain copies around, but it's definitely moving the way I expected it to do. For the Miami Music Week, we released the first digital release, which is going to be totally separate than the vinyl.
Yeah.
Uh, Vinyl is just going to be completely vinyl only releases, and the digital we're going to be a little bit more consistent.
Yeah.
I feel like the vinyl we want to make it a little bit more special. We already have the second one that we're working on, but it's probably going to come out next year. And the digital is more. I feel like I wanted to release something more consistent. I love the fact of getting unreleased music. The demos help a lot.
Yeah.
It definitely brings you a broader lane of music because there's these artists that want to just release and be associated with me and the brand that we're trying to portray, which is good. I feel like that like I said, it's these little things that keep you motivated, keep your head in the game also. But the demos are great. It's also, like I said, it's something personal. It's something that you're pushing and you're bringing to the people. And the response so far with the only two releases that we have been tremendous. So we're now, for us, already planning the next couple months of releases. It's good. It's good to be in that state of mind where that you're trusting your decisions on what you're going to
Yeah.
release. Because I tell all the producers that send me music, it's like, listen, if I'm playing the record, you're already in a good step. But if you send me demos and I like the record but I don't play it, it's going to be very hard for me to release it because
Yeah.
I'm not 100% behind it. So when I'm actually playing the records and the artists see that, they're more motivated to send me work and keep sending me stuff, which is the cool thing. And like I said, it's kind of helps me keep my style in the way I want to keep it, because I felt that as much of crazy other demos that I get, a lot
Yeah.
of the people that send me the demos, they know what I like.
Yeah.
They know what I'm going for. So I'm getting stuff that's more specific, and that helps me kind of continue the line that I try to portray with my music.
Nice. What are some up and coming producers that you're like that you've worked with right now that you think are going to be going places the next couple of years?
One of my main guys is Fletch from the UK. He's currently in Manchester. He's the artist of the first vinyl release. On this next digital release, he's done two really good remixes. He's finishing up one. He already did the other one, and then they're off to mastering. So that should be coming out by November, I
Nice.
believe. Um, Daniel Orpy is another kid. He's doing a great
Yeah.
job. We actually have a EP coming out on Paco Suna's Mindshake label
Nice.
on October, and that's something that I'm really looking forward to, just because Paco's Paco.
Yeah. Right.
Followed him for years, seen him play a million times, and and he's really been responsive with the music. So that's going to be a good one. Danny Orpey's doing a great job. He's in the same agency, so he's coming. He normally comes here to Miami, and we usually work together. We have a good chunk of tracks that we're deciding what we're going to do with them.
Nice.
And who else? Who else? I mean, there's I feel like Tyron Armory is this new guy that I found in Birmingham. He played after me at this club called Terminal, and
Ooh.
it was a sick party. He came on after me and he rocked it. I was like, wow. And we connected and we kind of just he started sending me some demos, and I already signed three of them. So I mean, there's like these guys. They're young guys, but they're delivering quality stuff. So it's pretty impressive to see them at that level that they are and the quality of music that they're sending.
I love to hear that, man. It's always nice to hear that like people that have been around for a long time are also like doing stuff to support the new generation of
Yeah, totally.
producers. It's really important. I
Yeah,
mean, there's
totally.
just people making crazy music right now that nobody's heard of, and I love to hear that you're still constantly on the search for that.
Yeah, no, it's nonstop. I mean, I'm that to like I'm very when people ask me for my demo email, I always give it. Whether it ends up working out or not, they'd have it, and it's a good it's a good little source of music that's going to be consistently coming. So yeah, apart from like the normal stuff that I dig and go to record stores or go to Beatport or go to all these other digital stores and look for music, getting demos and private stuff and unreleased stuff is great motivation.
It's good for you too, right?
Yeah, totally, 100%.
I always like to wrap things up by asking what excites you about the future of dance music.
I think the future of dance music is it's only getting bigger now. I feel as some people may have not enjoyed like the black coffee on Drake or whatever Beyonce's doing with the sampling and all this stuff, even though she thinks she's doing something really cutting edge. It's just a matter. I think this is all going to open up more doors for producers like myself that could even just ghost produce or produce for other artists, and it's a whole other genre. I feel like it's more. I feel like it's becoming a little bit more mainstream,
Yeah.
which was kind of before. I felt like it was very niche, and it was just like certain people would go to these parties, other people would go their whole lifetime without listening to a house record.
Right.
Now it's kind of like everybody either one way or the other they're listening to house music. So I think this is only going to get bigger and bigger. I feel like it's gonna open up a lot of doors, even though it's gonna push us to make music that's different from what we're doing, and whether we do it under our name or not, or create an alias, or do other things. I feel like there's so much creative power coming up from all these opportunities that could just do bigger things for people that you wouldn't have thought that could happen back then.
100%, man. I mean, I got to say, for years, I always wanted us to be more like Europe,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
where we could turn the radio on and hear dance music just in the regular radio. And you could go out to the cafe, you go out somewhere, you hear it everywhere you want. And like just for the United States to kind of accept it as legitimate art form. And it's kind of beautiful to see that, because what it really does is it makes it easier for all of us. Like all of us that have been working away in dance music for so long, it makes it's better for everybody when we can all succeed. There's so much space for that now.
Yeah, that's totally. I've been talking to my agent about just how busy we've been in America, and it's like all these other cities and all these different markets, and Florida alone with Orlando, Tampa, Miami. There's so much going on now that I feel like it keeps you happy, because it's like you're busy. It's not like you
Yeah.
just in America. I feel like festivals are getting bigger and better. People are more aware of this house music, and whatever they choose to listen to, still focus on electronic music. I think is still going to be a big thing, because sooner or
Uh,
later they may get bored with that and go into tech house or minimal or the other way around. It's just like they could go so many different directions now with so many options.
oh, there's so many ways to go. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
I came into this loving like drum and bass and trance,
exactly.
and now I'm full on into house music. I don't see, and I'm still listening to everything. You know what I'm
Yeah, of
saying?
course,
There's
of course.
you could listen to music every day for the rest of your life and never get bored in dance music.
Exactly. That's how I feel the same way too. So yeah, man.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time out to speak to us. We
No
really
problem. Thank you for
appreciate
having
it.
me, man. Thank
Yeah,
you for
absolutely.
having
We're
me.
really looking forward to that show in New York.
Yeah, I'm looking
Um,
forward to that one too. I like that room. I haven't played there in a while, and I know that it goes until late, and the sound system is always good. So I'm excited and to play with Della Swing on that. I think that's going to be a really good party. People are already hitting me up left and right about it, so I think we're gonna do really well with that.
it's going to be good. It's going to be good, no doubt. Well, thanks so much, and
Thank you,
safe
man.
travels to Toronto this weekend.
Thank you,
And
thank you.
and we'll be talking to you soon.
Yeah, bro. Take care. All right.
All right, you too, man.
Later,
Peace.
brother.